And I think the question that we have right now, and now is the time for choosing, is whether or not people want Toronto to continue this sort of decline direction it's heading in, like Seattle, downtown Vancouver. And if you would like that, I guess vote for Ms. Chow. Or can we fix this? Can we turn this around?
What do you say about John Tory's hypocrisy during those years?
I honestly don't even want to go there.
That's why we're here today.
Well, yeah, but the reality is, John Tory's not the mayor. He did resign. I believe that he did his very best to listen to the medical officer of health and listen to advice that he trusted. Now, you may disagree with some of that, but I believe that he was genuine in his approach. I need to go in from a position of strength. I need to be able to demonstrate to Doug Ford that he needs to treat us like a partner. And if he doesn't, then there are going to be consequences, and the public will ask him to face it.
It was all due to public safety, and at all this time, he was having a sexual relationship with a subordinate. What do you say about the mayor's blatant hypocrisy? Earlier this week, a 90-minute Toronto mayoral debate hosted by the Canadian Association of Retired Persons, aka CARP, and Zoomer Radio took place at the Zoomer headquarters in Liberty Village in Toronto. And we were pleasantly surprised, I must say, to be welcomed into the debate with open arms and even take part in the post-debate media scrum. Alas, the handlers of at least two candidates were mightily upset by our presence and our questions. But kudos to Carp and Zoomer for standing up for press freedom. Yeah, I know, what a concept. There were some new faces at the debate as opposed to the de rigueur six-pack of establishment favorites consisting of Anna Bailau, Brad Bradford, Olivia Chow, Mitzi Hunter, Josh Matlow, and Mark Saunders. For example, former Toronto Sun columnist Andy Fury was on hand, as was analyst Chloe Brown, who finished in third place in last October's mayoral election with almost 35,000 votes. And things got heated at times. Right-of-center candidate Fury, who supports a family-first policy, condemned the current municipal practice of operating so-called safe injection sites. This prompted current City Councillor Matlaw to fire back, accusing Fury of fear-mongering. But there were some more fireworks to be had in the media scrum as the handlers of current City Councillor Anna Bailau and former Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders complained to an organizer about the mere presence of Rebel News and our impolite questions. Now, to his credit, the organizer did not bend the knee to these complainers. Here, check it out and stay tuned for a follow-up story, folks, in the days ahead regarding ex-police chief Saunders. It's a blockbuster. Ms. Baila, David Menzies, Rebel News. Of all the candidates, I think you are the one that was closest to Mayor John Tory. John Tory resigning in disgrace in February is why we have this by-election. It was due to an extramarital affair, but a lot of people think what was worse was the fact that this is a mayor that shut down the city, that fined people, shut down businesses that were illicitly opening. It was all due to public safety, and at all this time, he was having a sexual relationship with a subordinate. What do you say about the mayor's blatant hypocrisy?
Mayor Tory resigned, and I respect his decision, and that's all I have to say about that.
I need to go in from a position of strength. I need to be able to demonstrate to Doug Ford that he needs to treat us like a partner. And if he doesn't, then there are going to be consequences, and the public will ask him to face it.
Mr. Matlow, a lot of people are struggling right now in the city. High inflation, interest rates spiraling up, carbon taxes, it's all increasing to the misery. Your platform is all about increasing taxes. Isn't this perpetuating the misery?
What a leading question. So I disagree with the premise of your question. My platform is all about improving the quality of life of Torontonians to make it a safer city, a more affordable city, and to improve city services. A component of how to do that is to raise revenue, but also to cut waste and to get a better deal with the other levels of government. So my approach is, let's deal with reality. And, unlike Olivia Chow, who doesn't even tell anybody how much she wants to tax people, and I don't know why she doesn't. I've been very clear. It's going to be 2% above inflation. That equates to, just for your readers and your listeners, so that they understand what this actually is, it equates to only $67 a year. That means $5.55 a month. So for the fraction of the subscription for Netflix, which a lot of people get, right? It's an investment into the services that have been declining, whether it be road repair and the many services that all of us rely on. At least I'm being upfront, and you may agree or disagree with what I'm proposing, but I'm being honest about it. I'm telling people before the election what I intend to do, and I'm also telling people not only what I'm going to do, but also where it's going to go, because it has to be a dedicated fund to improving services, because nobody's happy with, for example, the city keeps posting about how good a job it does with snow removal. I don't think in the real world we see it that way, right?
Josh, I'm very intrigued about, it sounds almost like you were channeling the late Rob Ford about the revenue problem, spending problem, and we know that Rob Ford was cutting services, things that were exorbitantly priced and whatnot. Would that be part of your initiative? Can you tell me maybe what, I don't know, how many jobs at City Hall might be cut?
I didn't say that. But, for example, outside of City Hall, I don't know if you're following how much money, millions and millions and millions of dollars that have gone into outside consultants that we don't need to be using, right? Okay. And if we can't do it and get our house in order, then we've got to question how well our bureaucracy is working.
John Tory was all about shutting down the city, finding people, shutting down restaurants with the mounted unit in one case, and yet it was all done in the name of public safety. But the ultimate hypocrisy is that he was getting as close as possible to a city staffer in a sexual affair. What do you say about John Tory's hypocrisy during those years?
I honestly don't even want to go there.
That's why we're here today.
Well, yeah, but the reality is John Tory's not the mayor. He did resign. We're choosing who our next mayor is. And in fairness to John Tory, when he had to make decisions during the pandemic, I believe that he did his very best to listen to the medical officer of health and listen to advice that he trusted. Now, you may disagree with some of that, but I believe that he was genuine in his approach.
What do you know? For the first time, Anthony Furey, candidate for mayor, one of 102 candidates, he actually got invited upon the debate podium here at the Zoomer headquarters. And, I guess, Anthony, first of all, how did that happen?
Well, David, actually, to correct the record, I was in the first big debate, BIA debate, and I think City News maybe took it, but then they got a little scared of me for some reason in the middle of things. But I'm now going to be participating in all the rest of the big debates, so looking forward to sharing my ideas, and as you know, I'm really climbing up there in the polls and getting momentum. I think because there's really only two candidates in this race who strike people as authentic, not making their policies up based on focus groups or what have you, but because it's core passions for them, and that's myself and Olivia Chow. And I think the question that we have right now, and now is the time for choosing, is whether or not people want Toronto to continue this sort of decline direction it's heading in, like Seattle, downtown Vancouver, and if you would like that, I guess vote for Ms. Chow, or can we fix this, can we turn this around? And running as someone who, I know the issues, I know the files, but I'm something of an outsider. I believe I'm the guy to step in and shake things up just enough to make the streets safer, better, more affordable for all Toronto families.
Well, and Anthony, you're getting some very high-profile endorsers. Jerry Agar of News Talk 1010, Lord Conrad Black, they've all come to you saying you are the right candidate for mayor. I guess the question, as always, with a field so big, do you have enough time to make it on election day into the mayor's chair?
Yes. Thanks so much, David.
Well, folks, I know you love us to bring you the other side of the story here at Rebel News, but we count on you. We don't receive any federal funding, nor would we take it if offered. So if you can, please go to rebelfieldreports.com. That's rebelfieldreports.com. And if you can make any donation, no matter how small, that would be greatly appreciated.